The Missouri Credit Union Miracles for Kids Radiothon.
Miracles are made by people like you. Together we can help the kids.
On Y107.
You can become a miracle maker today. 866-970-GIVE. Find a landline. I know that some people's phones are not working today. Find a landline. It's fine. We can also donate online at y107.com thanks to A1 Containers. But we just heard Kennedy's story there. And I think one of the things that was really highlighted there is they talked about how the hospital feels like a family. She says when we go back there, we don't have to explain our story because they already know Kennedy. And I feel like some of those people who would know these children and would not have to be explain their story are sitting right in front of us. Corinne and Ally, child life specialists. How are you guys doing?
Doing so good. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. Now, we were talking, you guys are ER child life specialists.
Yes.
What does that look like? When a child comes in and you kind of meet them for the first time, what does it look like?
So I always say it's kind of the beginning of their story, typically, when they come to the ER. So we see them when they first come back. Sometimes that's for a broken finger. Other times that can be traumas that come in. It really varies every day. But whenever they come in, we can, greet them there. We do a lot of procedural support and kind of help them through those initial scary times. And then what I love about the ER so much is we can continue following them even afterwards. And we can see them later on in their journey.
Absolutely. What you said, procedural support, what specifically does that look like?
So procedural support can look a little different depending on the kiddo, but really we want to provide any type of distraction, any positive thing to that, to really reduce fear, anxiety, and pain overall. So sometimes, that's watching an iPad, watching some Cocomelon, or sometimes that's just talking through things and holding their hand. It's really just providing them with all the resources they need to be able to cope through those hard times.
And you described it as kind of like the ER kind of. And how would you say, it's a really frantic time for some of these families. How would you say you keep yourself calm and you help those families in the best way that you can?
I think for us, we know the environment. It's not, it's like controlled chaos, if you will.
Yeah.
We kind of know our role. We know our staff. We know our physicians. And so we're able to kind of be that mediator in the environment, so we can help families understand why it's taking so long or what to expect for that next step. So it's almost part of the job to be that calming nature in what seems like the opposite of calm.
The port in the storm, kind of. Yeah, absolutely. What are your favorite successes? When you see something later on, you go, oh, that was a success? They're like, no, I don't know.
No, I just think it's so hard because whenever I think of success stories, it happens every day. Just even these small successes, I'm like, yes. Anytime kids just cope through procedures when everyone thought they wouldn't. They're too young or they're too scared or they're too upset. And yet we can enable them with what they need to be successful and to really empower them so they can master whatever challenges are thrown at them. Mm-hmm. So many times parents look at us and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys did that. I can't believe this happened. And, this kiddo was able to get through it. And that's just so exciting to be able to share with other staff with yes, they did it and we got through it and we're on to the next thing.
And you guys have mentioned, some kids will come back through later on and they'll recognize you. And how nice is that for you? What does that mean to you when they come back with a success story and they recognize you and can be like, thank you so much?
I think it's so validating for the work that we do. We try so hard to validate others. And I'll tell you, just the other day, I had a rough shift. There was a lot going on. And I came in and I had a mom that worked at the hospital. It took me a minute to recognize her. I walked in the building and she gave me a hug. And I was like, I know who you are. But it was just so validating to know that this is something they remember that really is helpful and impactful and makes a difference. So that's what I would say.
We're talking with Corinne and Ally. They are child life specialists at the MU Children's Hospital. And honestly, this is one of the programs that when you are donating to Radiothon today, you are donating to make sure that Corinne and Ally and all the other child life specialists and all these other programs stay there, stay at the hospital so that there is somebody to distract them through getting a shot or getting an IV or, doing these things that are just, it makes the hospital process just a little bit easier. Like, have you ever heard, I feel like I've heard this from different families. Have you ever heard that, like, coming to this hospital, does it feel like coming to a hospital?
Definitely. I've worked here a long time. I've had families say, oh my gosh, we got transferred somewhere else. We love it here. And I think the donors honestly make that difference too, because then we're able to provide what we do have. They help us do our job to the best of our abilities, because then we have the resources that we need. We have the prizes that we need. We have the birthday present when it's that kid's birthday and they have to be at the hospital. So it is significantly important, all the donors that give so generously.
And so that should be you right now. 866-970-4483. It is the 18th annual Missouri Credit Union Miracles for Kids Radiothon on Y107.